What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you for joining me here for a little bit of your time. I don't think this is going to be too long of a video. I'm going to keep it a little bit shorter than normal. So instead of being a kind of a normal vlog, this is going to be more of a, I wouldn't even say instructional, because honestly I have no idea what I'm doing. So I'm having some blow-by issues on my B20 VTEC Turbo. I've got a catch can, I've got, excuse me. So whoever that was, they just hung up on me anyway. So anyway, I'm having blow-by issues. If you don't already know, my Honda del Sol has a B20 VTEC, which is a B20 bottom end with a B16 head, or you can use a B18C head, whatever have you. But the issue is that the B20 blocks that come in the Honda CR-Vs and stuff, their PCV system, their crankcase ventilation system, is in the head of the motor, out of the valve cover, whereas on the B18s, B16s and stuff, they use a black box off the back of the block. So when you mix them together like I did, you end up having no crankcase ventilation. Obviously you have to have something to vent that extra pressure, especially in a turbo application like mine is. And mine's not some crazy horsepower setup. That's beside the point. But I'm getting some blow-by. My catch can right now is just a little guy. It's probably, I don't know, just a little eBay, not gonna lie, it's a little cheap eBay one, and that's not really the issue, because a catch can is just that, a can to catch oil, vapors, and fuels, but it's not baffled, which is part of my issue, I think, and the other issue is my location of where it is being drained from, or vented from. I have the two freeze plugs on the back of the block. If you don't know, you can use H22 oil feed plugs or oil, something from H22, and they thread into the back of the block. You run hoses off of that to a catch can. That's what I'm doing. But after talking to Joe at Low Cash Racing today, he's done a lot of B20 builds. His motor right now and his drag car is like 1200 horsepower, running like 60 pounds of boost. So I think the guy knows a little bit about turbo applications and draining and oiling and stuff like that. But he actually said that the issue is using those freeze plugs on the back of the block and not something on the front of the block, like tapping the pan or something for ventilation. But I am going in this case to be adding vents to the valve cover. So I'm going to make my own catch can or give my hand at it. So I went ahead and stopped by my local metal supply shop, bought this big old sheet of aluminum. It's 6061, and this was kind of expensive. It was 20 bucks. This is 50 thousandths. So I wanted something, because I'm still decently new to TIGging. I'm pretty confident, but still new, so I wanted something that wasn't too thin that I was going to burn through. Obviously it's aluminum, so it's light, but I didn't want something too thick that was going to be too bulky. So I already went ahead and got my measurements for this part of my engine bay right here, just in the corner where the factory air box is. I'm going to do it roughly 8 inches long by 4.5 inches wide. So I'm going to go ahead and just draw up two sections of two 8-inch sections and two 4.5-inch wide sections, and yeah, I'm just going to make this and get it cut out, and then I can go ahead and fire up the welder and see if I don't melt it completely. So I don't have anything fancy to cut this with. I'm going to just go ahead and cut this with a cutoff wheel. I got my two 8-inch sections drawn out right now, and then I'm going to cut those, and then I'll draw the 4.5 inches, and then start tacking it up, I suppose. Get it measured up, make sure, kind of rough test it, tape it together, throw it in the car, see what it looks like, and then if we're good from there, then I will tack it up. Here's the four sides of it. I still got to do the end caps, which are going to be the 4.5-inch pieces, 4.5 by 4, I think. But yeah, these are the side pieces. So I'm going to go and drill some holes in one of these for the fittings, obviously, because it's going to be sitting essentially like this in the engine bay. So I'm thinking I'm going to just try and tape this together really quick and go fit it But yeah, probably wasn't the best way to cut this with a cutoff wheel, but that's really all I have. I didn't want to go forever with a hacksaw or something, so gonna have to clean it because I got all my fingerprints on it. I'm not trying to get like absolute perfect welds out of this, but we're trying to do okay here. Kind of having a hard time mocking this up without actually tacking it. So it's roughly like that. Obviously these outside ones are kind of spaced apart right now because they're leaning against these things, but yep, there we go. Whatever, I'm gonna go take one of these and make sure it fits my area where I plan on actually mounting this, and then I'll just go ahead and cut some squares and yeah, trim them as needed. I think they're just gotta be 4.5 inch by 4.5 inch, and that should be good. So here's the rough idea of what it's going to look like, minus the bottom piece, obviously. So I'm going to do the fittings on either long side, doesn't really matter, because obviously rectangle, I can just spin it how I need it. But I do need to add some vents on here. Not a big issue. I can just go get a couple cheapies from like AutoZone or whatever and just put some little fittings on here to, you know, just mount the filters to. But yeah, I think I'm going to just go ahead and tack 2 of these sides together so that way I can kind of get a general idea of what it's going to look like, because I do want to add some baffling and or some steel wool or something in there to catch the oil particles, because I think that's part of my problem is my little eBay catch can doesn't have anything in there to actually catch the oil or stop the oil from traveling back through the tube. So yeah, this one's definitely going to have that. So I got the 3 sides of this thing welded up so far, or not welded, but tacked up. Now I'm gonna go ahead and make the baffles, and then after the baffles, I'll drill my holes for my Dash 10 fittings. So essentially this one, I just took the end piece here and just cut it, split it in half. So that way I can have one piece there, one piece down here, and essentially create a baffle so that way the air and the oil vapors have to, you know, travel. The oil vapors will drop, and the fresh air can work its way through as it needs to. And then I'll throw a little bit of steel wool or something in here as well for it to actually grab onto. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these, get the baffles tacked in, and then I'm gonna go ahead and get the other sides put on, and then the top I will wait to put on until all the bungs are on and everything else is already pretty much welded up. So I will be welding this on the outside, give myself a little bit of a learning curve since I haven't done outside joints yet. But hopefully it won't be too hard, and hopefully I don't ruin this, but coming along halfway decent so far. You can hear me over the fan on the welder, but I got this much of it done. I just gave it a few outside tacks, and definitely an issue because the outside edges are contaminated, which I figured would happen, but this is, like I said, just a learning experience for me. Kind of an idea what the baffles are going to be like. I'll have the one fitting down here and the other fitting up here, and then I'll throw some steel wool down in this area up in here. But I guess I'm going to just go ahead and throw this front piece on, give it a few more little welds inside the baffle area to just make sure it's all held in place tight, and then yeah, again I'll just have to wait to put the top piece on until I've got the steel mesh, which I gotta go to the store tomorrow and go buy. So well, here is pretty much the finished product before I put the top on and weld the bungs on. So really, all in all, not too shabby. Some of the spots, yeah, I kind of messed up a little bit, had to clump it a little bit too much. But you know, like I said, I'm new to TIG still. I've only been doing it for really less than 50 hours, probably like 20, 25 hours. So I'm really stoked, especially on this edge. But looks good, so I'm gonna call it a night because it's like, shoot, I don't even know, going on 11. Yeah, 10:38. So, well, I suppose call this a night. Come back out here in the morning and finish this up. Really, should be pretty easy, especially now that I'm kind of getting the hang of this TIG. It's getting a lot more fun. I really like this torch as compared to the Miller that I use at work. This torch is just, I like to flex it. It's real nice. to the local Home Depot, got some stainless steel scrubbing pads or steel wool or whatever, so that way I can throw those in the bottom of there. Picked up some Scotch-Brite pads, some fine ones to, you know, clean the welds up a little bit after it's all done to make it look nice. And the last thing I had to get was some aluminum rod. I got this at Home Depot as well. You can get it probably at your local metal supply shop cheaper. Home Depot marks their prices up pretty good, but I forget the exact thickness and whatnot. But I just needed something like this because I do plan on venting this, and I have, this is just an example one. I'm gonna have to go buy 2 more, but I'm gonna weld 2 of these little things on here, so that way I can you know, just stick it on like that and have some venting out of the catch can. So I'm gonna go ahead and just cut, I don't know, maybe 1-inch sections off this, and drill some more holes because this is the top section, so that way I can kind of have it, you know, sticking on there, and then have my filters on there, and then I can enclose this whole thing up, weld it shut, and then it will be finished. I guess it's better than nothing. Letting the torch cool off really quick, so that's why I'm just hanging over the back on the fan. But this is the finished product. Now I do have to clean it up, and yeah, I know for the 3rd time now, I'm not a professional. This is just having fun. So good little section there. It kind of got a little messy here because it started splitting away. But pretty good along here. Pretty hyped on for the most part across there, you know. Very, very hot. Wow. But yeah, it is totally good to go now. I am stoked. So now I just gotta order some dash 10 fittings, some hose, and 2 more of these little filter thingies to, you know, put on there. Anyways guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I had fun making this thing, and I'm really proud of it, so I can't wait to actually get it in the car, see if it works. And yeah, hopefully this inspires you guys to go out and make something yourself, maybe even try and make one of these, so that way you don't have to go out and spend $280 on, say, a Speed Factory one. I think this thing cost me $18 for that big old sheet of, I think it's 4 by 1, 4 foot long, 1 foot wide of the 50 gauge 6061 aluminum, and then that aluminum rod was, shoot, 12 bucks at Harbor Freight, and then the fittings I got from the shop behind my work. So I think I built this thing for maybe 30 bucks. Can't complain. Anyways guys, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to throw us that like button. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. If you're new and you subscribe, hit that little bell so you get notified whenever I upload. YouTube even then has a hard time telling you guys. But do what you love, forget about the rest. See you in the next one. Peace.